helping relationship skills.
Recently came out. Check.
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 They put that in the conference. I've been using it. Well, the one I've been using is for
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Oh, it's off.
They closed like all my markets got flooded with color, and that's the only one that's open right now. I mean, there's other markets, but
There we go.
it's a lot to pay.
Perfect. All right, we got volume. Perfect.
Are we unmuted?
Yes. Muted. Check. Good there. All right. All right, John, you want to take one of these seats? And then get Hunter. Where's Eric? Eric. Hey, Eric. You want to come sit over here? And then was that all the experts? All right. Move you a little bit. Just give me one moment, folks, and we'll get started. Checking on some.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's happening right now.
Very frequently. Sounds like.
Cool. All right, we'll get started. My name is Christopher Talisano. I will be your host for the duration. Thank you guys for coming out to a little different format than our normally scheduled programming of Entrepreneur Social Club. Tonight, we thought it would be timely. To get some experts that are out on boots on the ground and experience. And can you guys quiet down, please? Okay. That are out putting up roofs and dealing with insurance and just helping everybody to get back to normal. So I will let, actually we're gonna get Ian Iwamura on the line first. He has one book, and let's get Ian up here. Hang on a second. All right, Ian, you there? All right, would you like to? Cool. Yep, Ian is our one of our experts. He put together an app where you can connect with contractors and service professionals. So Ian, I'll let you chat a little bit about your app and how it can help people with their recovery efforts.
I am Ian.
Yes, so Andy has some swag from one book, some tape measures with. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Ian, for connecting us with your app, and we hope to put all the right professionals with the people that need it. And be safe in your travels, sir. All right. All right. Let's kind of start over with Sherry here. Sherry Platt. She is a career counselor. I think we can see you. Oh, let's move that. And sorry. Let's get rid of this. Sorry, I'm also our technical advisor tonight, so bear with me.
Don't give them a hard time.
All right, here we go. Now we can see you. All right, so Sherry, would you like to tell us a little bit about how you can help people out?
Yes, so I'm a career counselor, but I'm also a spiritual director, so I help people on both levels to both find work that is meaningful and also help them through this transition. We've all been through quite a bit, and I think it's important that we just take inventory about our emotional well-being as well as our physical well-being too. So, okay, so specifically I'm here to talk about work. Last week we were talking about how many people had lost their jobs since the hurricanes. And I just want to I know a lot of people are entrepreneurs here, but do you know people who have lost their jobs or had to shift their employment? Does anybody know that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, exactly. So I was going to give you some tips on the best way that you can start to make the transition. I have like, what, 2 hours to talk?
Minus 116
Oh, don't do that to me.
minutes.
All right, so let's talk about it. So I know a lot of people from the hospitality industry were affected. And so when you've been in one career for a long time, it's hard to think outside the box about what else you could be doing, especially when you're under pressure and suffering a little PTSD, or as they're calling it, hurricane hangover. So the first thing I want to suggest is that you inventory your skills. And this may take some work, but when I say inventory your skills, I'm talking about hard skills, not soft skills. So when I say soft skills are anything that you're born with. So great personality, looks, confidence, good at organizing, etc. Those are your soft skills. But hard skills are anything that you can teach or you have learned. So that can also include hobbies. So if if you have a lot of efficacy and you're a very good gardener, that's a skill. Just because you haven't made money at it doesn't mean it doesn't have value. So you want to inventory all your hard skills. You may need assistance with this because we don't think in terms of hard skills. But when you inventory the skills that you have and you take pride in what you've accomplished. So let's look at a hotel concierge. Hotel concierge probably knows every business in this area, every restaurant in this area, probably knows people who work in those restaurants, and they have a network, and they have skills, and they understand the restaurant industry. Does that, you understand what I'm saying? But you may not think, so the way I describe this when I'm working with my clients is, it's a little bit like asking a fish how the water is, right? Because they've been swimming in it for so long, they don't like, what's water, right? They don't even know they're swimming in water. And so when we've been doing one thing for an extended period of time, we don't think of ourselves as a set of skills that can be transferred. And yet that's what you're going to need to do to make this job shift. You have to figure out what your hard skills are, and then number two, you start to benchmark. So the first thing everybody does when they're looking for new jobs is go to Indeed.com and type in a job title, right? We got to stop that. You want to actually get, well, I hate Indeed.com personally, but they do have a lot of jobs, and they were purchased for $1 billion. So who am I, right? But anyway, so you want to actually put in the hard skills that you want to use, not job titles. Does that make sense? Because I will tell you, I was a career counselor, but I'm also a recruiter for 20 years. We make job titles up all the time. There's no rhyme, there's no reason. It's like, let's call it this. So if you're looking under job titles, you may not find what you're looking for, but if you switch to looking under hard skills, you're more likely to start seeing different opportunities. Then you create your resume. Everybody comes to me, they want to work on their resume first. No. First, you figure out what you want to do, and then you build a resume to do it. I have a free resume love video on my website, thestepscareeracademy.com, and you can just go and watch it. It's phenomenal. It's me, but it's still really, really good, and it will break down what employers are looking for. And I know because I've looked at thousands of resumes in the course of my lifetime. So, job title first. It's more than okay to have 2 or 3 different job titles, but you've got to make sure that you have resumes that match the job titles. Very essential. So one resume will not work for everything. And if as a recruiter or an employer sees that you're just throwing a resume at it, I take it into a nice little ball and toss it in the garbage. Narrative. Watch how you're talking about your situation. I know these times are really hard, but if you're talking about it negatively all the time, guess what? Nobody's going to want to hear about it. Nobody. I mean, there might be some buy-in for a while, but it's not going to get you what you want. You really have to watch your narrative. Think in terms of opportunity. Think in terms of mindset. Think in terms of, well, this is not happening, but I'm excited about what will be happening. Does that make sense? And then that's the narrative you have to use with employers too. I lost my job because a hurricane blew away the hotel is not impressive. Oh, so you're using me as backup? Nobody wants to be second choice, right? So watch your narrative and use your network. I think especially right now, people want to help each other. We actually want to reach out and support each other. I have drastically reduced my rates so I can help as many people as possible with all of these subjects. So watch the narrative and use your network. I always say start with your phone. Look at all the people in your phone first and then build out from there. Go to friends, friends, come to meetings like this. I think it'll work really well for you. How much more time do I have?
Probably start wrapping it up so we can keep it.
So I want to also just cover real quick mindset. It is hard sometimes to keep a positive mindset. You wouldn't know about this, Chris, but still. Make sure that when you're in a job search that you do 2 things. You dedicate time that is wholly to the job search, because when people see you have free time, what do they want to do? They want to use it up, right? So make sure you create time for the job search. Make sure you set boundaries so that you don't get distracted from your job search. And also dedicate time to taking a break. You want to allow time to see what opportunities begin to pop up. I want to remind you that there were more millionaires came out of the Depression than any other time period, because these people took time to pay attention to what was happening, where the advantages were. So let me see if there's anything else I feel is essential. I think that covers a lot of what I wanted to cover. If you need additional help, I'm here. Like I said, I've drastically reduced my rates to help people. I have to charge because I'm also making money, but I'm here if you need assistance, and we'll be happy to talk to you afterwards.
Cool. And just to clarify, after the experts talk for a few moments each, then we will break out to breakout tables, and then you can go and ask more questions of the experts. So that'll be from about 7 to 8 o'clock. So, or you can just mingle with people. So thank you, Sherry, very much. That was awesome. Very informative. All right, Mr. John Livingston. He is an expert in mold remediation, so why don't you tell us, I think everybody's heard that word way too much recently, so why don't you explain a little bit about what we can expect and things we can do to get everything back to normal.
Good evening all. Again, my name is John Livingston. You may know me from previous iterations of my business here at ESC. I initially came in as owner of a B2B IT business, networking, cabling, server administration, things to that effect. No worries. And so with that, it just became an environment of sociality here. And so in my next iteration, we'll call it mold abatement, just due to the fact that I don't have a crew to do the removal aspect. Mold remediation is all encompassing. It is identifying the source of the mold first and foremost, identifying the type of the mold, and then immediately removing it, because without the removal of the mold, you cannot stop the process. So once the mold is removable, whether that be in drywall, furniture, flooring, whatever the nature of your infestation or your infiltration may be, you move past that, then you move on to some sort of abatement, something that's going to hold at least the on-growth of any new spores that are related to the mold. Once you've got that, you use something generally, I prefer natural solutions. There's a wide variety out there. Some of them are particularly harmful, but essentially what they do is they kill all surface mold and put it into a state that it renders it unavailable. You'll still have the actual physical dead spores, so you'll need to remove that through air filtration or something to that effect. Currently, what I myself am offering through the remediation services is to come in, provide a ozone-based treatment which removes 95% to 99% of the mold spores, and then provide an oxidative surface treatment to porous and non-porous surfaces, which is generally non-reactive, that kills everything that is on the surface. So that way you at least have stasis, and you've not got a festering, lingering thing that keeps growing as time goes on. And so that gives you a little bit more time and ability to get contractors, arrange for your rebuild, your remodel, to renew things in your life during that time frame. Because if you don't take any of these steps, it just continues to grow. Your bill continues to grow, and thusly your losses continue to grow. So the first step out of all, even before you do that, is to secure your valuables, any of your pictures, make sure any of your documents, anything to that effect, because once the mold sets in, there's no technique that's going to resolve the damage that occurs to your valuables and your important documents. Outside of that, it's the domain of cleaning. So once you've got the spores and stasis, you've now got the opportunity to do a thorough deep cleaning and try to remove finally, permanently, any of the sources. Once you've done that, then you're safely able to rebuild. But it's a kind of a strict guideline of processes that you must go through in order to reach that end goal, because any shortcuts, any missteps along the way, just endure the pain and heartache, or prolong the pain and heartache that you're going to deal with in removing this. Mold and spores related to are kind of one of our oldest forms of life on this planet. So they've been around a little bit longer than you, and they kind of figured out how to make it happen for themselves and procreate. Your goal is at least to have them procreate in a place that's not your residence. That's all you can really ask for. But I'll be around afterwards. You have any questions, you feel like this may be something you want to venture down, or even if you just need tips and tricks for yourself, I'll be around to answer them. Sure, by all means.
Yeah. I've been doing this a long time, and when I came into the business, I did not take mold serious. I didn't realize how detrimental it is to your health, and I have two contractor friends of mine that did not take it serious. Once it gets in your lungs, it never comes out, and you're sick from there, and it's not a way to be. You're really sick. So, two things mold needs: water and drywall. If someone doesn't have that, if they don't have the moisture out of their house right now, at this point they already have mold. So if you have that in your home, do everything you can possibly do to get it out of your house. It's that serious.
So I didn't want to be the person bringing you the message and fear-mongering, so thank you. This is very serious stuff, you know.
It's about saving people's health.
Yeah, seriously. And so, you know, it's kind of hard sometimes to balance of bringing a pure message without inducing emotion, you know, along with it, because you never want to bias anybody. But what he said is 100% true. Every day that these things linger in your home, it puts you and your family at risk. And so follow those guidelines, at least to get yourself in stasis until you can get a full remodel or whatever it takes to resolve that issue at the end of the day.
Awesome. That was some great information. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, pass the mic down. Andy, did you have something to say?
Fearmonger.
Hang on 1 second.
When Jerry's talking about shifting gears with employment, Ian mentioned this last week, but he informed me that I could remind everybody that Ian is paying folks, you know, commission-based, 1099, if you make enough to 1099, to spread the word about this one book. It's that simple. It doesn't take long to learn how to use it as a customer yourself or as a contractor. And anyway, he can ramp this up with your help. You know, anybody you know, kids or whoever, you know, bartenders and waitresses, whoever's looking for work, can fit this in and promote this one book. Ian pays, not me, Ian. I believe him. He told me and I believe it. Really.
Thanks, Andrew. All right. We'll move on to Eric Crowder of Camargo Roofing. And I've ridden along with Eric a few times this week and learned a lot about all the things people are dealing with above their houses. So Eric, if you'd like to chat a little bit about some things that you have learned in roofing and how what people can be looking out for, and how they can progress with their roofing repairs after the hurricane.
Well, my background, my whole family got wiped out in Andrew. We were right about where the Air Force base. My brother was in the Air Force, and it took me 2.5 years to get back in my house.
You go closer to the mic.
So after,
You just have to raise your voice because it's actually not an amplified. It's just for our streamers.
I have no problem raising my voice.
Yes, speak louder.
Anyways, so I've seen a lot of really bad things, and I dedicated my life to helping people get back in their house in a hurricane, and I didn't think I'd be this darn busy. So this is crazy the way these storms go. I was in Louisiana. They had 7 named storms hit that coast of the same year.
Wow.
And they foregone all permits. They weren't even inspecting anything. They have enough inspectors. The insurance companies weren't answering the phones. It was horrible. But I had this poor lady. She was right on the water. It was her dream house on stilts, everything. And she got hit with Ida and blew her roof off. And she fought the insurance company for a year and a half. Finally gets back to where she can get work done. Hires an unscrupulous contractor who did horrible work, put a roof on. She finally gets back in her house, and then she got hit with Zeta, another hurricane. Remember, they went through the whole alphabet that year, and it blew her brand new roof off. And I'm thinking, why the heck are we putting these same roofs on? They're going to blow away in the next hurricane. And the problem with losing your roof, that replacing the roof's bad enough, but once that roof gets down to the plywood, if you've ever seen any pictures, it literally rains inside the house. And that's when the mold and mildew comes up, and you have to throw everything ends up by the curb. You pretty much lose everything you own. So it's horrible. So I ran across this organization called Fortified Roofs. I was one of the first fortified roofers in the state of Florida because of this, because I ran across it. And what it's about is stopping the water damage. So instead of just replacing a roof and the water comes inside the house, it goes from replacing a roof to $200,000 in damage, and it's really preventable. So what fortified roof is putting a much stronger roof on, better windows, stuff. It's about fortifying your house, but mainly the roof is the most important thing that you can put on your house to protect the water damage. And there's a lot. It's 20 years worth of research. It's actually through it's IBHS. It's actually through the insurance industry, where they have all these big wind tunnels where they shoot light until the roof blows off. They find all the weak parts of the roof. So basically what it is the code right now is the ice and water shield. It's actually a underlayment. It's a moisture barrier. It's 3 feet around the edges, the eaves, and then the valleys. It doesn't make sense because that stuff's amazing. It really encapsulates the plywood. It's not going to blow away in a hurricane. We do the whole roof with that. The entire roof is covered with this ice and water. We put nails in certain parts where they had failures. We put roof tar on all the valleys, all the stacks, all the vents. And when they did all these wind load tests, guess where the most of the pressure was? On the edges of the roof. These shingles and big metal roofs, they don't blow off from the top. It gets underneath the edge of the roof, and it's called uplift, and it blows them out. So we're doing a lot of extra nails using a bigger drip edge. We actually use what's called a starter strip shingle. This is like a really strong, the first row of shingles. We do a lot of stuff, so there's no way that the wind's going to get underneath the edge of that roof. And that's really the difference between losing your roof in a hurricane and not losing your roof in a hurricane. It's not just shingles, it's metal too. So it's fortified, and it's a certification. It's a huge discount off your insurance company to throw it. So it's code now already in Alabama. It's code in Louisiana and in Texas. The state of Florida did a thing called My Safe Florida Home. It was the biggest retrofit system program ever done, where they did $700 million getting these roofs with full ice and water. It's out of funds now, but that's how important it is. So, and even using shingles. These shingles have come a long ways because, the older shingles, if you got 20 years out of a roof, you were doing good because I used that 15-pound felt paper, and that's a petroleum-based paper, and after a period of time, that petroleum leaks out and becomes porous. That's why your roof starts leaking. And then the worst thing about that, when the shingles blow off, the only thing that's protecting your roof is paper. Think about that. It doesn't make sense, does it? Okay. So once we do the ice and water, we're putting what's called a synthetic underlayment on. We double up on that, and it's 20 times stronger than the paper. So is it a little bit more money? No, it's what you need to spend to get your roof done correctly, the way I look at it. If you don't do it, you're not spending enough money on your roof. And it's, you know, on a 30 square roof, we're talking a difference of maybe $2,500 extra on a roof. But you'll save that just in insurance savings. And if a storm comes by and every shingle blew off on your roof, you're still not gonna get water damage, you're not gonna have to move out of your house.
Nice.
So it's the difference between losing your roof and not losing your roof, so it's that important. So, that's what we do, we're Camargo Roofing. You gotta have great installers too. I don't care, you could have the best product in the world, you gotta have a good installer, because if it's not installed right, what good is that? And that's where, there's two places that most of these roofers take shortcuts. It's either materials, because a regular person doesn't know the difference between a good underlayment and a bad underlayment, okay? So we use a top-of-the-line shingle. It's the highest impact rated shingle. It's up to good 2 inches of hail now. Before, if you had a hailstorm, it'd destroy your roof. So now we have a shingle that will actually take up to a 2-inch. They actually put what's called, it's a Scotch Guard in it too. It actually stops, you know, some of these new roofs, after a couple of years, they start getting streaks from the mold and mildew. They have over 1 million installed. They guarantee for life that you won't get mold, mildew, or streaks and fading on your roof now. Cool. On your shingles. So it's pretty awesome stuff. So your roof's always going to look new after you do it. And our installers, the key to that is we have someone on the job that's responsible for making sure this roof is put on correctly. I mean, these guys got to be a little bit nuts to be on these roofs in the middle of summer, 150 degrees anyway. So if someone's not watching, we're going to take shortcuts. Someone needs to be watching.
All right.
So that's it in a nutshell, I guess.
Thanks, Eric. That was very informative, really good stuff. So, if you guys have any roof questions, you can talk to Eric after this, and then we're going to move on to Kathleen Seide about real estate issues and things of that nature. Yeah, there we go.
Hello. So I'm Kathleen Seide. I've been a real estate broker for over 15 years in Florida, and I've been making myself available to people. You know, with the 2 storms that have come through, they've had a ton of questions about, you know, tenants having to move out, landlords. How do I get my tenants out? Do I have the right to do work? How does that work? How long do they stay? So that's been the big batch of questions that I've been fielding for people. Friends and, you know, here and whatever. So if you have questions in that regard, you know, come to me. It's more useful if you have a copy of your lease available to take a look at. I did print out a copy of the statutes, so we can revert to that if you don't have a lease. Also, questions about, you know, how does a storm like this affect property values has been really popular. So I did some research, and there's a couple studies out there that are robust, looking at several different, more like a meta study of a lot of different storms and how they affected real estate values. So the one that is sort of pinpointed in Florida, it was like Ian going through Lee County down in South Florida, and it was inconclusive whether the hurricane affected real estate values long term, which I think means on the, you know, as far as we're affected, probably didn't, right? Like, did it not? Hard to tell. So, you know, that's a minimal effect if it's going to be affecting real estate values. Huh?
You'll have very short memories.
Well,
It might affect it for a year, but
exactly, and so in the short term, it's definitely affecting closings, listings, and stuff in the short term. Like right now, month to month, like this month compared to the month before the hurricanes hit, we're down. You know what? We're at 60% the number of new listings and 65% the number of closings month to month, right? But that's because things are damaged and needing to get repaired and stuff in the meantime, right? But also there was the larger meta study that was looking at a bunch of different storms, and they were seeing that actually in the 1 to 3 year window, prices tend to bump up after a natural disaster, not just hurricanes, but natural disasters in those areas that are affected for a variety of reasons. Like people still need housing, and there's limited housing, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, as far as house values go, there's fear of like, well, is this going to make people not want to live here? The short memory, you know, people come back in a not too long time frame, and then also there's a limited resource available, so you know that bumps up you know, demand a bit. Yeah. So anyway, I have some information about that. I printed them out, and I put the links to all of that on the online, event, if anybody wants to read 60 pages of research on it. But, real estate questions, I'm happy to answer what I can and send you in the direction of, different resources if I can't answer that. So.
Cool. Thank you very much, Kathleen. All right, and last but not least for our expert panel is Hunter Gunderson. He is a public adjuster and owns a business doing that. And I didn't even know what an adjuster did before all of this.
Right.
I still really don't. So
Yeah, not a lot of people do, so I appreciate everyone for letting me come here to speak to you guys. I know this is a pretty hot topic right now. What is a public adjuster? Some people confuse ourselves as an insurance adjuster. So my name is Hunter Gunderson, I'm the owner of Right Way Public Adjusting. I've got 10 public adjusters, some engineers too as well as estimators, and then some back-end office too as well. So what I do is we specialize in dealing with property damage for home and business owners. We're licensed to the same Department of Financial Services that the insurance companies have to be licensed through and get regulated through. We also do all of our continuing education through them too as well. So every insurance company is going to have an adjuster that goes out to the property. That adjuster is going to look out for their interests, right? You're going to want an adjuster that looks out for your interests. That's us. We don't represent the insurance company, we represent the insureds, residential and commercial. Obviously we have a lot of damage from flooding, Hurricane Helene, and obviously damage from Hurricane Milton, a lot of wind damage, roof damage, etc. You want to have an advocate for you on your side, and that's what we do best. We go out to the property, we interpret the policy, we look through the entire policy and make sure we understand exactly what's covered, what's not covered, because how many of you have actually looked through your policy and read all 70 pages? Okay, well, you got some free time. Yeah. So policies can be pretty boring, but very intrinsic too as well, and very convoluting too as well, and understanding exactly what's covered, what's not covered. Has everyone heard about what a public adjuster is in here? Does everyone know what a public adjuster is? Say 50-50 maybe? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've been around since 1978, but of course the insurance companies don't want you to know that we've been around, because when we get involved, it means that they have to pay out more money. We protect your interest. If you guys have all seen the segment on CNN probably about 3 weeks ago, what I knew was already happening is that it was actually what's happening. Insurance companies were sending out these adjusters to go out to the property for Hurricane Ian, and then coming out with an estimate, submitting it to the desk adjuster going into that estimate and redlining the entire thing, and then coming out with, oh, your deductible is $5,000. I'm so sorry, Ms. Johnson. The coverage decision is $4,998. Can you believe that? And so we were getting calls, people were frustrated, because when the catastrophic event happened, Jim Cantor and a lot of these, predominant people went on news channels and said, trust your insurance company. They're going to send out an adjuster. That adjuster is going to take care of you. Go through the process, and you're going to come out on top. Not even 60 days later, we were getting calls from people that didn't even get in touch with their insurance company. Yeah,
So I'm just going to speak on this because I personally witnessed how the difference between an insurance adjuster and a public adjuster worked. Just this week, I had an insurance adjuster show up to my house, tell me that none of my furniture was damaged because it was clean water, and the public adjuster said no, all flood water is sewage water, and I literally have sewage pipes running down the street in front of my house. So the insurance was trying to say that none of my stuff was permanently damaged because I could just rinse it off and sanitize it and it was going to be okay.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Exactly. That's one of many things that they're going to do. My man over here with the roofing company said, that you have to bring things up to code, right? A double underlayment, peel and stick. These insurance companies are going to miss out on a lot of these line items. On average, my company, I'm a statistics and a finance major at the University of South Florida. So I run numbers every single year. On average, we're covering about 457% more than any home or business owner can recover on their own. For many reasons. We really interpret the policy. We use the same software system called Xactimate you have to be licensed to use, and that software system is very intrinsic. You have to build your own report, your own scope of loss, and understanding all the line items and codes per the zip code is really imperative to building your estimate, and then comparing and contrasting with the insurance company, you'll see where they really redline a lot of different line items and missed out on certain things like underlayment, peel and stick, things that need to be into the policy. Not only do we build our own estimate, but we meet the adjuster at the property. We handle the whole claim from A to Z. We're dealing with the whole insurance company, the desk adjuster, field adjuster. We have engineers that we need to bring them out there too as well. And we don't just deal with roof claims and flooding, we deal with fires, busted pipes, vandalism, business interruption claims when COVID happened. I represent Hooters of America for their business interruption claims, Golden Corrals, residential and commercial. And you know, the insurance company is going to have an adjuster that's looking out for their interest, and we look out for your interest. So when an adjuster comes out to the property, you want to make sure you have somebody out there that's, you know, walking with them to the property, showing them all the damages, going through the scope, taking pictures. I can't tell you how many times I've had adjusters take 30 pictures and then look at our photo report and we have 350. And the desk adjuster is trying to make an argument on their estimate. And you know, how do we go about that? So the question is, what happens if the adjuster has already came out? Well, that adjuster is probably going to take 6 weeks to get their report to the desk adjuster, and then they're going to go in there, and you're never going to see that original report. I've never seen an original estimate from an independent adjuster, and I've hired multiple independent adjusters to work for me.
Ignore the first guy. They're 40 to 50% undercharged.
Yeah, really convenient, right?
I'm so sorry, I got another question.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you guys do business insurance that's not related to the property, but the actual function of the business itself, like loss of use, like equipment cleaning?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, we do that. So, for example, Hooters of America during COVID, a lot of their facilities obviously shut down, and I was able to work with the owner and deal with a lot of their properties for, you know, loss of use, right? You know, these buildings and properties over here in Madeira and all across the coast are destroyed. So now they're losing out on money every single day that they can't reopen their business, right? So that's all loss of use. So there's certain coverages under that policy, interpreting that policy and making sure there's the right coverages. And Chris, I apologize for going a little bit over time.
No, it's all good.
You know,
This is all really
yes,
great,
that's
so,
great.
I have a major question. I've been in real estate for 45 years.
And that's all.
We won't hold that against you, by the way.
What's happened recently, say zip code 33701 normally has, in a given month, 12 claims. That's not an issue. The insurance company's going to cover it. Catastrophic coverages, let's say zip code 33701 is now averaging 200 claims a day. One, where's the money going to come from these insurance companies when Debbie, 77%, I believe I just read, never got paid from Debbie up in Big Bend area?
Yeah, people gave up.
So, well, it's not a matter of giving up, it's a matter of funding. And there's no insurance company out there that can handle this type of stuff. We're talking 4 states that,
$1 billion, yeah.
what's the rough estimate, 150 billion so far?
I mean, that's a good estimate. That's a good estimate. I mean, there's something called reassurance that
Exactly.
insurance
I
companies have.
understand
Insurance.
reassurance too, and those companies aren't gonna be issuing next year reassurance to somebody like Citizens.
Yeah, well, a lot of
So
them
what are
want,
we gonna do
receivership.
with all of the arguments that are gonna be going on with insurance companies, between insurance companies, homeowners, property managers, you know, what are we gonna be able to do to move this forward as quickly as possible instead of fighting over $10 and $20?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, obviously the people in Tallahassee have to make a stand and they have to come up with something. You know, Tampa and this area haven't had hit with a hurricane in 100 years.
Yeah.
So where's all that money been going for the last 50 years of them
Big
collecting
Bend?
premiums?
Yeah.
No, Tampa, like Tampa.
Yeah, where's the
He
money
means
going?
money
Big
goes
Bend.
to pay for the big men.
Yeah.
That's what insurance does, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know,
Rob Peter
it's
takes all.
it's something that needs to be addressed. You know, I can't say I know the exact answer to that. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting here, right? So, you know, I do know that I have 0 claims open from Hurricane Ian, and we were very successful in recovering every single dollar for Hurricane Ian. So, you know, I'm going to keep doing my job, representing the insureds and representing them and getting to the finish line. There will be a lot of people that meet these insurance companies at town halls. I can't tell you how many times I've been emailed from my clients, hey, my insurance company is wanting to meet us at the city hall, you know, bring all my claim documents, and they're going to settle the claim with me. And they go there and they get, you know, $10,000 offered to them, and their claim is worth 120, 130, sometimes, you know, even more than that. So that's, you know, what's saving them a lot of money too as well. But, you know, I know that we have over 30 years of experience. We're also ABC Action News preferred vendor, so I go on the morning blend show every month and educate home and business owners about what I do. And we recovered over $30 million in less than 4 years since the firm. Yeah. So we're very professional. When we meet these adjusters at the property, a lot of them can be very combative, but we know how to handle these adjusters and be very professional and have an understanding that we're not against them, right? We're just making sure there's a fair settlement for these home and business owners. And these desk adjusters a lot of them are very new to this industry. A lot of them never been on a roof before, and they're getting these coverage decisions and getting the pressure to save the insurance company a lot of money. And a lot of times they're getting paid bonuses at the end of the year for saving them a certain amount of money. So at Right Way Public Adjusting, we handle insurance claims the right way, and that's certainly why I named my company Right Way. So
One final observation, and maybe you can help me figure this out. The forms that we fill out on the flood adjustments say, hey, if we miss something as the infield rep to the insurance company, this isn't the final figure, but take the money and then argue for more later. Do you agree with that philosophy?
yeah, I do, absolutely. I agree, because it's not like car insurance. When you take the check and you cash it, the claim's over. Car insurance and homeowner insurance are completely different. It goes same thing with flood. When we get checks from the homeowner's insurance or flood, that money's yours. You can cash that money and then go get more, right? So flood insurance companies are accepting appeals and appraisals here in late November, early December is when they're going to start accepting that. Because right now they're so backed up, even just covering these initial inspections.
Yeah, I've gotten 3 back already. I was amazingly surprised.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen one really advancement yet for the hundreds of claims that we've signed up thus far. So I know they're backed up on doing that. And we're dealing with a lot of commercial claims, HOAs, apartment complexes, and of course a lot of residential. Cool. Appreciate your question.
Great question.
Excellent question.
All right.
Can I elaborate on this one?
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
These insurance companies, when I first started, it was awesome. They were coming to the table and they were doing everything by the book, the way it was supposed to be done. When when all them hurricanes hit, Wilma, Jean, France, and everything, they made it about face. I saw it. They are actually teaching these guys how to decline claims now.
Yeah.
They're not your friend. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys read about Universal Property and Casualty. They weren't settling claims for 3 years. And I would go to an adjuster, get to the end, they'd change adjuster on me, and they start all over. And they do it time and time again. Their stock went up 1,000%. And when they left Florida a few months ago, they stuck the state with $600 million in claims.
Yeah.
That's what's going on in the field right now. So a public adjuster is imperative. And I had to get good at it, because I was getting my teeth kicked in out there. And someone who lost everything he owned, I felt so bad for these people. I went and I spent $1,200 of my own money to a public adjuster on a claim, and everything that guy turned down in front of me, this guy got approved. And a lot of it's just the right word, phrase, or an action. So when you're dealing with these adjusters, all you got to say to this guy is, it wasn't like that before the hurricane. Don't say anything else. Let him handle it for you, because it's that imperative. If they catch you at one wrong word, like when you cut down a tree, you can't just cut down a tree and removed it. You say you have to cut and dropped it, or you won't get paid. It's just that one thing. I had a guy tell me he wasn't going to pay for a window. I go, how it's damaged in a hurricane? He goes, well, I'm not convinced. You know what he said that to the guy I hired? And the guy said, I'm not, how do I know? He goes, I'm gonna go for your license. You go, what do you mean? He goes, you know it and I know it. The customer told you it wasn't like that before the hurricane. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And he goes, it's not one window, it's all windows. One window's damaged, replace all the windows, because I got to be brought up to code. This guy got so flustered he went out and sat in his truck. And then he brought him back in. He says, hey, we're not going to talk money. I'm just going to determine what needs to be repaired, and then we'll handle it from there. And then he got everything approved. So that's how important an adjuster is. So,
Thank you for that, Eric.
yeah.
All right, thank you, Hunter, for that very interesting conversation.
Thanks for having
Learned a
me.
lot. Kathleen said, "Ooh, I didn't know that." I was like, I thought Kathleen knew everything. All right, and last but not least, Mr. Alex.
Okay.
Alex specializes in flooring, so he's been doing a lot of floor rip-outs and put-ins. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've learned with flooring, and if you can help give us some advice.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alex. I've been doing floors for the past 18 years. Everything regarding floors, these kind of floors, hardwood floors, vinyl planks, very popular right now. Laminate, engineer floors, so sending the old one if it's possible, really.
Yeah,
no problem.
talk louder, bro.
And sending the old ones, as I've said, and installing new ones. I know maybe a lot of people have a bunch of questions. I'll be more than happy to help you out, even with some advices or options. It depends on how bad is the situation. And also I do painting interior, exterior.
Cool.
So, well, my cars are there, but anyway, just I don't work with insurances, so that's something that it's up to the customer. Okay, so I know a lot. I don't know everything. Probably nobody knows, everything, but a lot. So feel free to ask me.
Kathleen has a question real quick about.
Maybe a relevant question, relevant to me. Under like a laminate floor or floating floor, right? So if water gets under there, does that all need to be torn out to
For how long
remediate
time the
mold?
water was there? If it's today, out, absolutely. So, gentlemen,
Yeah.
both gentlemen, they spoke about mold. This is one of the main concerns, and people are asking me, hey, Alex, you see, they have hardwood floors like this, which is glued down, right? Where is Michael? Michael?
Yeah. Oh, he's over here somewhere.
Okay. Anyway, I'm assuming this is glued down. So if it's been there for a couple of days, definitely I cannot be responsible for mold. And if something happens, I know people got in a hospital because they had black mold behind the dryer, for example. It's the same. Mold is one of the most, how to say, dangerous thing for us. We can live even in the space. So it's what we do usually, Alex, because let's say if it's 100 years old, hardwood floors, they want to keep it cool. What we can do, we can go in every room, cut, let's say 1 by 1 to check. There's nothing underneath, we do a repair after that and go just to save that floor. Other than that, it's, I give the customer, hey man, it's too much, better replace it.
But like wind got blown in a door, laminate floors, it's been sitting there for a week, nobody dried it out. Probably, I mean, I'm thinking mold, you gotta tear it out, you gotta do the whole thing, right?
I recommend
I
that.
have done the whole thing in my estimate. Yeah, continuous flooring, can't match it,
Yeah,
etc.
right, and
I
then,
recommend that,
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
yeah. If you don't know better, hey, check,
Yeah.
if it's bad, yeah, you could definitely make them.
all right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank the experts for speaking tonight. Let's give them a round of applause. And I'm going to send this card around. If you guys have never been to ESC, this has our link to our Discord channel. So everybody here tonight will be on our Discord channel, so you can reach out to them individually. So I'm going to pass that around, put it up to your phone, click on the Discord link, and then you can sign in there. And then we're going to break out to individual tables. So I'm going to get each one of the experts a table. If you guys just want to mingle a little bit, and then find the experts you want to chat with and ask them some questions. And thank you guys for coming tonight. And then we're going to do dinner at Mangosteen at 8:30 if y'all want to come meet up and chat a little bit more. But until then, fill your brains with knowledge from all these great pros. So thank you for coming out.
Point attention to all these.
If you guys just want to grab a free table or one of the end tables, and then people will come find you.